I gotta think of all the games I played this year, chat. Let's just throw them in here. Throw that in there. On the same note, we played Final Fantasy X this year. So half of these games on this list are games that I did stream, but there's gonna be about half of these games that I'm gonna throw on here that I did not stream, that I played in my own time. Crash Team Rumble, of course. Of course. Technically, I finished Strikers in January. True. I'm wondering if I should throw that on here. Speaking of Persona 5 Dancing. We'll put Strikers on here. Okay, I'm gonna go to some games that I played off stream. I played this game this year. This game was pretty all right. I also played this game. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's called Ender Lilies. It's a Metroidvania. Oh, I played this game. Yeah. This was like the game I played right before I went to Japan. Oh my gosh, Ocarina of Time. Bloodborne. Throw that on there. NES Zelda. You know, I didn't finish it, but you know what? I'll put it on here. I actually played for the first time this year the first Jak and Daxter, funny enough. Oh, wait a minute. I can't believe I forgot this. I bought this game and I played it over the weekend. Oh, yeah, I could throw this on here. Took a shot at Pokemon Unite this year. It was a lot of fun. Now we're gonna start moving things around. We're gonna start at the bottom and we're gonna work our way to my game of the year. Again, this is all of the games that I played this year. Not all of these games obviously came out this year. Ocarina of Time definitely didn't come out in 2023. And by the way, all of these games, I didn't dislike any of these games. My bottom two are probably gonna be these two. They're fine. Ender Lilies is like it's like a Metroidvania. You can compare it to like your Super Metroid games, your Castlevanias, your Oris, your Hollow Knights. A very small minority of people have played this game and everyone's like, oh, this game is like a masterpiece, super underrated. I didn't feel that way about it. I thought it was fine. The gameplay's a little stiff for me. The map kind of sucks, but it looks beautiful. The story's in the lore is pretty dark. It's kind of like Nier-esque. And I honestly, that was like the most interesting part of the game for me, but definitely at the bottom of my list for this year. Not a bad game. I think it's fine. I think I give it a 6 out of 10. Harvestella is another game I played this year. I feel like this is a 2010 game that came out in 2022. I think it came out last year. It feels like a game from like 2010. Is basically all I'm trying to say. Doesn't make it a bad thing, but it definitely gives off like that vibe. I do recommend this game if it's on sale. It's a very cozy game. It's like a farming simulator meshed with an action RPG. The farming and everything is actually really fun, which is funny coming from me because I usually don't enjoy games like that. To be honest, the farming is kind of addicting. This is another one I give like a 6 out of 10. I recommend buying it if it's on sale. I think it's only okay. I think I put Jak and Daxter next. It was fun. I enjoyed it. The only reason why I think I will put it more towards the bottom, I feel like the controls did not age very well, but it was a very fun game. It's just, I just don't think it aged as well as maybe 1986 Legend of Zelda. A game that I haven't finished. I was taken by surprise at actually how fun this was. Figuring things out. You don't really have a guide, right? You're kind of just going through it and just trying to figure out what to do, and that's like the most fun part of this game. Honestly, the only reason why it's lower is just because, I mean, look at how many great games are on this freaking list, dude. Like, that's literally the only reason. Jak and Daxter, I'd probably give a 6.5 out of 10 for me. 1986 Legend of Zelda is probably a 7. I think Pokemon Unite, I think I'm gonna leave it right here. Yep, I think that's fair. I sunk a good maybe 50 hours into it. It's fun. I think the core game is really, really fun. And this is something that I probably would only really play now with like friends. In ranked, I think my highest I got to was like Veteran 2. I ain't no Pokemon Master. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think Persona 5 Dancing goes right here at number 9. I enjoyed customizing all of the outfits. Honestly, that was actually like my favorite part of the game, was just like unlocking all the outfits and just seeing like how crazy they can get and how good some of these characters look in all of them. And yeah, and the music was great. There were some really cool remixes. I really loved the Rivers in the Desert remix. That was one of my favorites. Buying a Akechi for like $5, worth it. And it was cool like watching like the choreography like after certain dances. 7 out of 10. Give it a 7 out of 10. Now we're getting into the hard territory. I think For me personally, I think I keep Mario Wonder at number 8. I actually think it's one of the best Super Mario Brothers 2D games out there. Like, every level was like unique and different and like surprised me in some way. It's very satisfying to run through, if that makes sense. It's proof that you could still do 2D Mario and do it well. I thought it was fun having multiple playable characters. I've not tried the multiplayer for it because I've had nobody to play with, but the game just in itself was fun, and it's beautiful. It's like one of the most beautiful Nintendo games out there. 7.5 out of 10. This list is harder than I thought. Hi-Fi Rush is going to number 8. This game did something completely new, where it was like, it's like a rhythm game, but like an action game. A lot of fun to play. Robbie Damon voices the main character. He's fantastic. He's perfect for the role. And what's cool is like the environment around you moves to like the beat of the music. So there's like stuff in the environment that's like just moving to the beat of the music, and you time your combos to the beat of the music. I'm glad for a game that was shadow dropped. I'm glad Hi-Fi Rush got an award. Yeah, that's the other thing. This game was literally shadow dropped. They announced it and then they dropped it that day. It's fun. It's funny. The cast is great. It has a lot of like great moments, and it's free on Game Pass. Hi-Fi Rush, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for me. I think I have to put Fire Emblem Three Houses at number 7. I feel like after I play the other routes, it might be higher, right? Or it would have been higher. But I was a Crimson Flower guy. The characters are like the best part of this game. They all have like unique supports and interactions with each other. And, you know, tactical like RPGs aren't really my thing. But this game was fun, dude. It's always satisfying getting a crit. This game also has Edelgard and Petra, so it's automatically in the top 7. I'm glad I did the Crimson Flower route as my first, because I got really attached to those characters, for sure. 8 out of 10. I'll put Strikers at number 6. It's fun. Like, every character is super fun to play. The story is actually good for like a sequel, like a spin-off sequel. It's actually good. And it introduced me to one of my favorite characters in the Persona 5 series, which is Zenkichi. Top 6 for sure. I kind of want to play through it again. Number 5. Crash Team Rumble. I'm biased towards the orange rat, man. The core game is mega fun. It's mega fun, dude. There's not like an incredible amount of content. Like right now they have a competitive mode and a party mode. A multiplayer Crash game that's not Crash Bash and that actually functions online for the most part. It's a blast. Every character is unique. It's 4v4 and you have to work with everybody on your team in order to like win the game. They've kind of been like cycling in and out like different game modes that they've been trying with like their labs mode. And they're fun. Like, I wish some of these modes would like stay permanently. They're kind of really only doing like limited time events. The core game is just fun. The only thing it needs is more content. The game just needs more content. There's not a character that I don't enjoy playing in this game. And Spyro is now in the game. So yeah, of course it's a top 5. Crash Team Rumble is a great Spyro game. FF16, FF10, Ocarina of Time, and Bloodborne. No. Yeah. FF16, number 5, technically. I have not put my game of the year on here yet. I put FF10 slightly above it. FF16, I mean, it's a must play. Like, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, it's a must. Both of these Final Fantasies are must plays. FF16 has some of the best, not just boss fights in this series, but just best moments. The Bahamut fight alone is one of the greatest boss fights cinematically of all time. The only reason why I put it a little below FF10 is because the pacing's kind of rough. Whenever it's at its high, it's like, yeah! It's like, it's up there, dude. Like, it's high. But then, like, the 3 to 4 hours it takes to get to, like, the next high sometimes can really feel like a drag. Side quests and all. Although this game had a lot of really awesome side quests, especially at the end. Some side quests should have been main quests, especially the ones at the end. And vice versa, there were some main quests that should have been side quests. Too many peaks and dips with the pacing and major plot. Yeah. Great game. Absolutely worth it. I cried, I think, 4 times. 3 times in the finale alone. And any game that can make me cry is worthy of being in my top games of the year. And the combat's fun too. You can really get cheeky with like your combos and your icon moves, but like It's nothing like it's Devil May Cry like at its base, but it doesn't get crazy like Devil May Cry can get, if that makes sense. Like at its the base like template is like Devil May Cry like, but it doesn't ever get as crazy as like the DMC games, if that makes sense. The other thing is like the open world is kind of empty. Actually, it's very empty now that I think about it. It's like just as empty as FF15's open world. So those are my criticisms, but again, it's in my top 5 because it's like, it's just, the story's great. Clive is one of the best main protagonists Final Fantasy has had, probably since like, oh gosh, I don't even know. He's the best FF protagonist we've had in a very long time. And this is like one of the few games where I could say that the main protagonist was my favorite character. FF10, I mean, dude, like, I get why after playing FF10 that people love this game so much. I love that you can switch between characters in combat at any moment. You can cycle in party members anytime you want. It was really nice playing this after FF16 because it was nice to actually have those RPG elements that FF16 was missing. Not saying that they weren't there in FF16, because there are RPG elements in FF16, but it is a lot of action elements. And it was just nice to kind of go back to like a classic Final Fantasy and experience that for the first time. The cast is great. Yuna is probably one of the best like female main characters, female lead. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. There's a lot of like Christian influence in there. I will absolutely be doing a Gospel According to FF10 video at some point. I felt real connected to the cast and it made me cry a lot. Top 5 for that alone. And probably one of the best endings. One of the most bittersweet endings ever. Oh, I should probably rate these. Crash Team Rumble, 8 out of 10. FF16, I think I give an 8.5 out of 10. And FF10, I think I give an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Bloodborne and Ocarina of Time. I'm reminiscing on both journeys at the same time as we speak. Yeah. Ocarina of Time, number 3. Bloodborne, number 2. As somebody who played Ocarina of Time in 2023, a 1998 game in 2023, I get it. I get why it's so charming. I get why so many people love this game. I prefer this game over Breath of the Wild. I do. I think I prefer it in almost every way, actually. It revolutionized 3D adventure games. And that's not the only reason why it's up here. I actually like had fun with it. I had fun going through the temples and getting stuck and trying to figure things out. I had fun like discovering things and being shocked that I could play a song on the ocarina and I could talk to a cow. The boss fights were fun. The temples were the most memorable part of the game. And it really makes you think. It was a nice brain exercise for me, right? The Scarecrow song, I still remember it, chat. Up, 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 down, 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 up, down. Truly a magical experience. I give it a 9 out of 10. I give it my first playthrough, I give a 9 out of 10. The final boss was literally Federer versus Nadal. Probably one of the coolest final bosses in video games, actually. If I were to place myself in 1998 and to actually put myself in the shoes of somebody who's playing this game in 1998 and experiencing like, not just the game in general, but like that final boss in general, it would have blew my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if like on like people's like top 10 final bosses of all time across the board, like if it's on everybody's list. Ocarina of Time is number 3, but Bloodborne, dude. Bloodborne is easily number 2, dude. This is one of the best Souls games I've played so far. And not just that, but it's just satisfying to play. The gun parry is like one of the coolest things in this game. It's so unique. It's so satisfying. This game has no reason to be as good as it is, but it just is. All the levels were very cleverly designed. Fighting things were very, very fun. The bosses were very fun to fight. There wasn't a boss that I disliked, which is weird. I feel like in Souls games, there's always that one boss where it's like, oh man, this boss sucks, man. There wasn't a boss fight that I disliked. There was not. There were some mobs that I absolutely hated. Game is absolutely stunning, dude. Bloodborne is my number 2 game this year, without a question. I give Bloodborne a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for Bloodborne. Absolutely. One of the most satisfying games I've ever played. And also one of the most intriguing games I've ever played. I stand by that. I'm pretty confident in this list, however, chat. Okay. Okay, we're talking about it. I haven't put it on the list yet. There's one game that's missing. There it is. Bam. Yep. Oh, man. Let's just enjoy this, actually. This is one of the best JRPGs I've ever played, and it's my game of the year. I want you to see the actual text down here. As somebody who played the first game and really, really enjoyed it, Octopath 2 specifically, it did everything better than the first game and more. Definitely some things that like the first game needed. So for example, the only parts of the game that were voice acted were like the end of like each character's like of like a chapter. So like each character in the first game has like 4 or 5 chapters, and there's 8 characters, hence the name Octopath. Octopath Traveler 2, every single main chapter scenario is voice acted. Not just that, but even some like important side quests are voice acted. And it just brings the characters to life a lot more and makes you feel more attached to them. And I don't want to say that's the only reason why I actually like all of the main characters from this game more than the first game, but it definitely helps you get attached and invested in certain characters when you can hear what they're feeling. They introduce a couple of new mechanics that were really, really cool. There's a day and night cycle in this game, and things are different in daytime and nighttime. You kind of got to experiment. The new latent power ability is really nice. This game just did everything better than the first game. Like everything that the first game needed, this game did. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but like after you finish everybody's stories and after you do like a few very specific side quests, there's a final chapter at the very end of the game that involves everybody. That's like the icing on the cake for me. The first game didn't have anything like that. It was kind of like, oh, whenever you finish everybody's stories, you're kind of done. And then there's a secret boss that you can fight. That's optional. But they actually like connected everything together in this game. Not saying they didn't in the first game. It's just in the first game, like it's a lot more in the background and not as obvious. And there's not that like final chapter moment with everybody. Now you do have everybody in your party, but like the chapters that you go through and the stories that you go through is focused on like that character. So like if you're going through Throne's story, it's going to focus on her and it's going to be her story. But whenever you're like in battle, you'll have your party with you. The game looks gorgeous, but like the animations compared to the first game are like top notch for a 2D, HD, 3D, pixelated JRPG. The animations are incredible. And this game also adds banter mid-battle in between the characters, which is such a nice touch. There's a lot of really nice little details in this game that really just made me fall in love with it. And not only is it my game of the year, but it's become one of my favorite games of all time. It is the most underrated game this year, without a question. And not only that, but it has one of the best soundtracks that I've heard in years. This is my list. I'm very, very confident in this list and my thoughts and feelings on all the games that I played this year. Octopath 2 obviously being number 1. This top 5 is absolutely stacked. These are my games of the year, man. This is it.